Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. This is American Horror Story 1984, episode 5, Red Dawn. Okay, we're gonna go straight into it because this is a long episode, okay? So we start off, the show opens up, we have the fake nurse Rita, okay, aka Dee Dee, the psychologist, who, the year is 1980, so this is 4 years before the reopening of Camp Redwood, okay? We see her, she's sitting in her car, whatever, smoking some cigarettes back to back, okay? And it looks like she's on like a stakeout or something, okay? And we see like a black man get out of a car with a woman, and they go up to like a little apartment or whatever. And so she's cursing or whatever. And so I'm thinking like, maybe this is her man or something, my husband, and she's trying to catch him cheating or whatever. And so after they get up to the apartment or the house or whatever, she goes right after them and she uses a little card to break in, okay? She breaks in, she sees like 2 wine glasses on the table. She's like, okay, whatever. And so she hears somebody in the back, and she hears like some music playing. So she's like, walks over there and she starts knocking on the door, but she says, Dad, I know you're in there. And I'm like, oh, this your daddy, girl, okay. So she's like telling her daddy to let her into the room, okay? We hear nothing. So she's like, I'm a bust up in there, okay? So she busts up in the room, and she sees the woman that her daddy was walking up there with. She is tied to the bed, and it looks like she's been beaten up or something or whatever, okay? And it just looks like a room of horrors, okay? And so she's walking around there and just flabbergasted, and she sees all these pictures on the wall of like girls being tied up in this room, okay? So we like, okay, this man is a serial killer, okay? And so the woman on the bed wakes up and she starts to screaming and to hollering and whatnot, and she, was trying to figure out like where she is and like, what is going on. And so Nurse Rita is trying to help the woman. She's like, look, calm down, whatever, calm down. And the woman starts looking like past Nurse Rita, and we see, okay, her daddy is back in the room, okay? So her daddy's like, Dee Dee, you're not supposed to be here. I didn't want you to see me like this, okay? And Dee Dee's like, Daddy, this not you. Like, why are you doing this? Like, what is going on? And, like, when did you start doing this? Mom says that you were disappearing or whatever. So I was trying to figure out, like, what was going on. I'm sorry, y'all. Something's wrong with my throat, but whatever. So her daddy was like, yeah, I've always done this. I've always been like this. I've always had, like, a yearning to kill people. And so, he just kept on killing people, thus becoming a serial killer, okay? And so Nurse Rita Dee Dee is like, look, I know you aren't a bad person. Like, you raised me to be a good person. I'm a psychologist. Like, I don't think that you were born bad. I think, we can fix this and we can fix you. And so he's like, it sounds good, but nah, okay. So he kills himself, in front of her, stabs himself in the neck, and that's that, okay. So now we get some background on Dee Dee, and we figure out that's why she's so interested in seeing how serial killers, like, are they born with it or are they like conditioned with it, okay? So we cut to the camp, okay? Remember last episode we saw the Night Stalker. He was dead. Jingles had killed him. But, the devil then rose Night Stalker back up, and Nurse Rita saw everything, okay? So the Night Stalker is talking to Nurse Rita, and Nurse Rita's like, how, like, I just saw you dead, now you're risen, like, what is going on, okay? And the Night Stalker is like, look, I am pure evil, okay? And it's just what happened, sis. Like, you're evil too. And she's like, no, I'm not evil. She's like, yeah, but what about your dad? What about you, Dee Dee? And she's like, nobody calls me Dee Dee. How do you know my name or whatever? And he's like, girl, I know everything, okay? And then her daddy comes out of the woods, and he's like, Dee Dee, you are dark, you are evil. I want you to carry on my legacy, you know what I'm saying? And she's like, oh. She's like, go ahead, carry on the legacy, okay? And so they just playing with her mind or whatever. I was like, oh, poor Nurse Rita, she's in here. Well, I can't say poor Nurse Rita because she knows what she's doing, okay? But so the next thing we have all of the other counselors. They are by the car. Remember last time they all met up at the car to try to escape, and the car was on fire. So they're like, so I think Margaret was the one to set it on fire, but I don't think we know that for sure yet, but I'm pretty sure she was the one. But anyway, Margaret is there, all the counselors are there, and Zay starts to tripping. He's like, look, we need to burn all of this. We need to set a big fire so somebody can see us. Like, everything needs to burn up. I need to burn up. Y'all need to burn up. Everybody needs to burn up, okay? And they're like, calm down, Zay. Calm down, Zay, okay? He gets like a little, a branch. He puts it in the fire. He's like waving it around. Margaret pops him on the head. She's like, look, I was scared he was going to hurt y'all, okay? So what's the plan, okay? So they go back to the cabin. They drag Zay back to the cabin, okay? And Margaret tells them, she's like, you know what, I saw earlier when I was walking around the woods or whatever, I saw they had some boaters across the lake, who had a boat. So maybe we can take our boat and then go to them people and, try to ask for help or whatever. And so they're like, yeah, that's a good idea. And so Montana's like, check, go with Margaret, okay? Because, she... Montana wants Brooke to herself. She's been trying to take Brooke out. Okay, it's been the hardest thing for Montana to take Brooke out. So she's like, check, go with Margaret so I can handle Brooke. She doesn't say that, but she's like, go with Margaret, okay? Chet is like, okay. So Montana and Brooke are in the cabin. Zay is passed out. Brooke is like, should we wake him up or whatever? Like, should you be in a coma and sleeping? And Montana's like, look, he'll need to be awake for what's about to happen, okay? Like, let him sleep, all right? And so Montana's trying to plot, she got a knife in the back of her. She's trying to plot to kill Brooke, and do it like nice and quietly. And Brooke was like, it's kind of weird that Margaret said all of a sudden that she saw some boaters. Like that's kind of weird. Like, why she didn't say anything before? And Montana was like, yeah, she's crazy. I don't know. And so Brooke is looking outside, and Brooke sees Ray. Okay, I think somebody said that Ray was gonna come back. But she sees Ray walking outside. And Brooke's like, that's Ray. And Montana's like, girl, Ray is dead. He, his head got popped off or whatever. He left. They don't know that his head got popped off. Montana's like, girl, he left. He abandoned us or whatever. And Brooke's like, no, he's outside. I'm going to go see him outside. And so Montana's like, God, I can't kill this girl. I'm like, Montana, you got to hurry this up because you try to quietly stab her in the back. And it's just, you taking too long, okay? So the next scene we cut to Margaret and Chet are in the boat, okay? And Margaret is stirring that boat all crazily, just looking at Chet like, do you believe in Jesus? Okay? And Chet is like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Like, he cool or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, I believe in God, but, I don't be going to church like that. That's basically what he said. And Margaret was like, I could tell you a lost person and you confused and you need Jesus or whatever and you fake. You need to find yourself in Jesus. And he's like, so can you stop talking about me? Like, what about you? Like, you probably fake too. And she's like, you know what? You're right. I'm actually here with you because I wanted to separate y'all and I wanted to kill y'all. Okay? So she takes a paddle out the water and pop, 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 pop. Okay, she like, knock Chet all up in his head, okay? Chet is like, oh my gosh, girl. And she ties an anchor around his leg, and she drops the anchor, the end of the anchor, she drops the anchor outside the boat, and we just see the chain going, down, 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 and then, Chet falls out the boat into the water. He's holding on to the boat. Margaret is trying to cut his ear off and stuff, too. And once he's out the boat, she finally cut his ear off. And then she starts stomping on them fingers on the boat, okay? And poor Chet goes tumbling down in the water. I said, dang, he was just the nicest one there, poor Chet. May he rest in peace, okay? So Brooke meets up with Ray. She's like, what happened to you? And Ray was like, I don't really know. I was on a motorcycle, whatever. Like, I don't really remember too much, okay? And he's acting really weird, okay? So I'm like, is this like the Night Stalker type of situation? Or like, what is going on with Ray? Because we saw Ray get his head popped off, okay? So, they're trying to talk or whatever, and they hear like a little jingle, 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 jingle. So they think it's jingles. They start to running, okay? They hide in this cabin, and they get to talking, okay? And so Brooke is like, I moved to LA to try to like be nobody because, when I was young, I used to make good grades and stuff like that, and I had the highest grades in the class. And then this little boy, he would, he wasn't as good as me, and he would always come second in the class, and he was just so, aggravated by it, annoyed by it. And so I started to, like, just get the answers wrong on the test or whatever. So then he started to like me. He wanted to take me out for some ice cream, and then he became my boyfriend, and then I got engaged to him, and he was crazy, okay? So she was like, I spent my whole life trying to please everybody else and be somebody I was, and I lost myself, okay? And then Ray was like, you know what, that happened to me too, okay? I was trying to be a doctor or whatever, and joining all these fraternities and stuff and doing what they wanted me to do, and I kind of forgot, like, who I was too, girl. And then Brooke likes that, and she's like, so she gives him a little kiss or whatever. And Ray's like, girl, why you did that? And she's like, oh, well, like, we probably gonna die here, so I want to spend the rest of my little life living it. And he's like, girl, let's live it up. Stop playing with me, okay? So they do what it do, okay? So back in the cabin, we see Zay is on this whole, like, Jingles messed up my face. I can't get on TV Guide cover. Like, what am I going to do? Okay, so we like, okay, whatever. And so Dee Dee pops up. Nurse Rita pops up. She runs into the cabin. And Montana's like, girl, you want some more? Like, remember when we was fighting in the woods? Like, you came back for some more? Like, let's get it, okay? And so Nurse Rita, she's like, y'all, I messed up. Like, I let Jingles out. Like, it was my mistake. And, like, I messed up. And Xavier goes crazy because he's like, look, you were the one that let Jingles out, and then Jingles did this to my face. You're responsible for my face, okay? And so he proceeds to try to kill Nurse Rita, okay? So we cut back to Brooke and Ray in the cabin, and, they put on their clothes or whatever, and she's like, girl, this is my first time or whatever. He's like, girl, what? She's like, yes. Okay, and so she tries to get something out the fridge. And she sees a head in the fridge or whatever, and she's screaming. And then Ray's like, girl, what's wrong? And so it is Ray's head in the fridge. Okay, I was like, who put Ray's head in the fridge? But she's like, girl, what is going on? Like, this is too weird for me, okay? And Ray is like, girl, it's weird for me too. I don't know what's going on, girl. And so Brooke runs. She leaves Ray. She runs back to Montana. Okay, and Montana's like, girl, that's a crazy story. That's really crazy. But, okay, she knocks Brooke out, okay? So Brooke wakes up, and Montana's like, girl, I've been trying to kill you because what you did to my brother and whatnot. And they get to fighting. And so Brooke escapes because Brooke stabs her in the leg. So then we cut to Jingle as he found Nurse Rita, a.k.a. Dee Dee. And he's like, girl, I didn't kill none of these campers. Like, it wasn't me. Like, I'm not a killer. Like, I only killed back in, in the war. That was pretty much it. And Nurse Rita's like, you know what? Like, I'm sorry I let you out. Like, it was all my fault. I didn't mean for this to happen or whatever. You know what? Can you please just kill me or whatever? And she has a little knife up to her throat. And, what's his name? I forgot his name. Just like that. Jingle was like, girl, I'm not even gonna kill you. I'm not a killer. Like, you gonna have to do this. You have to just live with this, because I gotta take care of Brooke. I'm not Brooke. I'm trying to kill Brooke. I gotta take care of Margaret, okay? So I'm like, yes, Jingles, take care of Margaret. So then we cut back to Brooke. She ran away from Montana. She found a place to hide. Montana's like, look, I'm looking for you, okay? Brooke in the cabin making noise or whatever. Montana finds her, jumps her, and they get to scrapping, okay? So then we cut to Jingles, and Jingles finally then found Margaret, okay? Margaret is like, I should have shot you in the head. Jingles is like, you should have, okay? He picks her up. He goes to, like, choking her, and I'm like, yes, Jingles, like, get your revenge, boo, get your revenge, okay? And then Xavier, with his crazy self, he pops up trying to be Robin Hood, trying to save all of the poor people, okay? Just doing everything wrong, all right? He goes in there and he starts to putting bows into Jingles. Like, pop, pop, pop. He put like 4 bows into Jingles' chest, okay? And he's like, we see Jingles kind of, I think Jingles died. So Jingles died, okay? Zay killed him. And Xavier's in there like, I killed Jingles. I was like, oh, Xavier, you don't even know the full story, boo. So he goes to try to help Margaret, and Margaret, she acting like she's dead. She's like, Margaret, And then she wakes up and he's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "No, I'm perfectly fine." Okay, she takes the knife and she just cuts his stomach open. Okay, so Xavier is dead. Okay, and I was like, well, you killed Jingles by mistake, so you had to go. Okay, that's just what it was. Okay, you should have knew the whole story before you was out there trying to be Robin Hood. But anyways, okay, so now it is sunrise and the kids are on their way to camp in the bus, in the school bus. They singing the songs like, "We're going to camp." The bus driver's in there like, "Do do do, going, y'all ready for camp, kids?" or whatever. Yeah, okay. So then we cut to Brooke and Montana. They're in like the front of the camp and they are fighting. Montana stabs Brooke in the chest, but Brooke flips her over and chop, 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 kills Montana. Okay. Then Brooke looks up and she sees the whole school bus looking at her like, ah! Okay. And so the bus driver then called the cops. Okay. And they arrest Brooke. Okay. And then we see Margaret. Margaret is like peering from the other side of the cabin. You know, the cops haven't seen Margaret yet. They're peering from the other side of the cabin. Margaret is peering from the other side of the cabin. And she's like, So she stabs herself in the leg with her knife, drops the knife, and she's like, "Oh my gosh." And so they're like, "Oh, ma'am, are you okay?" And she's like, no. Do you know that woman?" Talking about Brooke. "Yeah, she's one of my counselors. She went crazy and she tried to kill everybody and she tried to kill me." So just like she did Jingle, she blamed everything on Brooke. Okay, they take Brooke away. Okay, and so then we see Ray. Ray's walking around like, "Girl, what is going on? I'm trying to get out of here." Okay, and so one of the ambulance people sees Ray. And they're like, "Sir, are you okay? What's going on?" And Ray's like, "Girl, something is wrong. I don't know what's wrong, but, do something, okay?" So she tries to take his pulse or his blood pressure, and he has no blood pressure, okay? So she's like, "Let's take him to the hospital because I don't know what's going on, girl." So they put him in the ambulance, and they try to take him out of Camp Redwood. And the ambulance leaves, and then we see Ray is still at the entrance of Camp Redwood. Okay, so he is a ghost of Camp Redwood. Okay, and so Jonas, remember Jonas, the one that Xavier had ran into whenever they were first coming into the camp. We realized that Jonas was there whenever Margaret was there at the camp, and he died at the camp. So he's been a ghost of the camp. So Jonas sees Ray, and Jonas is like, "Look, like, you can't never leave. It's just what it is, okay?" Oh, I did forget that whenever Mr. Jingles had died, and when Xavier put them bows into him, the Night Stalker had came to Mr. Jingles, like basically woke him up and was like, "Do you want to take the devil as your, master?" And Jingles was like, okay, so we didn't know if he accepted the offer or not, but he looked like he was about to accept the offer, okay? So we cut to Montana, and Montana is, dead, okay? But she wakes up and she kills a police officer, okay? We see Ray and Jonas looking at her like, "Girl, you just can't be killing people like this. Like, what are you doing, okay?" And she's like, "I want to go by the name Zul now." And they're like, "Girl, who? Like, are you a demon? Like, what's going on, okay?" And just like, "Look, y'all are boring. I'm trying to have a good time while we're in purgatory. Like, let's go. Like, we ain't got no ramifications for anything, girl. Like, let's have a good time, okay?" And so then we cut to the Night Stalker and Mr. Jingles, okay? So obviously Mr. Jingles then took the devil up on his offer, okay? And so he is back alive. And we see him and the Night Stalker riding on a police car. And they are headed to LA, okay? They got 160 miles till they get to LA. I don't know what they're going to do in LA, but they're probably going to cause chaos and havoc, okay? Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. That is it. This season is getting really, really good. I'm like, what can y'all do now? They arrested Brooke. The Night Stalker and Mr. Jingles is out here on a prowl going to LA. Like, what is going on? So thank y'all for watching. Give me a like if you like the video. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hit the bell so you know when I post these videos, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!